Good evening, everybody. This is our regular meeting of the Board of Trustees. It's Wednesday, October 16th at 6:04 p.m. And I am officially calling this meeting to order. Welcome to our member from the public. So we're going to start with a period of public expression.
Well, I'll just say, I want to thank you. The minutes really are very good. And Kelly for getting the information out ahead of time. Appreciate it. Because I don't know how often I'm going to come down here, but I just sort of keep a tab on what's going on now. But I want to thank you for that.
Thank you for keeping tabs on us. Thank you.
It's many of you don't know, but I go back with the library when the board was not an open board and voted on. And some of us got this to be an open board meeting. I mean, in other words, that's what friend you had was got put on the board, so we
Yes.
managed to change the direction in relation to the village. I can't even count how many years ago that is, because I've been through so many iterations of what's going on in the village.
Well, thank you. Thank you for being a good citizen of Sag Harbor. We need more people like you to participate.
I appreciate that.
Yes, I wish we had more. Okay, time for approval of the minutes. Can we do them both together?
You can.
Okay, then can I please get a motion to approve the budget hearing and trustee forum as well as the regular meeting minutes?
I'll make the meeting to approve the minutes.
And I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, minutes are approved. Moving on to report from the Friends.
So the Friends are very excited about their program, which is gonna be the first Sunday in November. Did you grab that flyer? No,
They weren't any.
there weren't any, they must be out. So it's on preserving Sag Harbor's history. Catherine is going to present some of the interesting and exciting things that are going on in the archives. And some of the interesting and exciting things that are in the archives. And then there'll be a little reception down in the program room afterwards, which I think is just like coffee and tea and cookies. They're also very excited for their December event, which will be up in the Rotunda again with George Hirsch, who will be speaking. He will not be cooking, but they're also they're gonna do the same thing they did last year. They're gonna get donations from the different restaurants in the community for food. They'll tend bar, and it should be a lovely event again. So that's what the Friends are doing. They're still recruiting. They're looking for some new friends. So if you or anyone you know is looking for a great volunteer opportunity, friends. But
He said George Hirsch.
George Hirsch,
As seen on TV.
that's exactly.
Okay, treasurer's report. Take it away.
Okay. Greetings. Okay, if you look at the chart here for September 2024, that's what we're talking about today. We ended with an operational balance of $1,821,569. Of course, that's down from last month because we no longer have a lot of income coming in from the village. But you'll notice that we're getting really close to where we were a year ago, which is wonderful because we had the glow up in between. So we're down to just a little over $100,000 compared to a year ago, which is wonderful. We've paid off caught up with most of that expenditure. As you see, the investments are quickly approaching 4 million, which is great, and we're still putting money in there. We've moved some recently. So we've gone up by almost $500,000 over the last year. And the current numbers are at the bottom. 5,773,837. And again, that's down just a little bit compared to the balance last year, which is great. So as I said, September was a very moderate month. We only spent less than 300,000, 292, 944. There were no red flag expenses of any kind, nothing jumped out. Financial income was good again, almost 21,000. Contributions not so good as last month. If you remember, last month was just wonderful. Was $129.55.
Better than a poke in the eye.
Definitely. In terms of year-to-date versus budget, this is the end of the third quarter. I didn't make a big deal about it, but you know, it is a good time to look at the numbers and they look very solid. Because we've spent 74.4% of our budget, which is pretty close to exactly on target. A little bit under. And again, the overages are what we've expected. Materials and program, 82.44%. Administrative expenses at 91%. And B and G is at 137 and change percent. But again, as we've been noting all throughout the fall, these are being offset by savings in other areas. And by a strong performance in financial income, which is now at 252% of budget, and contributions, which is now over 1,000%. And that's because of big numbers like we had last month with this.
Yeah, a couple of estate gifts.
Yeah, the estate gifts this year have been wonderful, so that has really put us in a very strong position. Jumping down to the warrant, the bill payment list, we had $104,000 and change in outstanding checks, which is a normal amount. Nothing wrong with that, and they all look good. Payrolls, as you see stated here, quite normal, predictable payrolls, so everything looks very good.
But I
The
have
end of
one
the third quarter. Yeah,
question,
question.
and maybe I can pull it up. On office expenses, telecommunications line, is that normal that amount, like 33,295?
It is, our telecommunications line is actually, we have pay for fiber through a company called Crown Castle, which we get at a reduced rate. Through the Suffolk Cooperative Library System, it was a collective bargaining. And it's just to have the quality and the quantity of fiber that we have is not inexpensive.
Wow,
Um,
how often do we get billed for this?
twice a year,
Oh,
once a
okay.
year? Once a
Once
year,
a
it's
year.
not that
Okay.
often, is it once? I'd have to go back and
Oh,
look,
okay.
but it's
It
not,
popped up and it's something I
Yeah.
haven't seen
Yeah.
Yeah,
regularly, thought I'd
Yeah.
ask, okay. This question,
any other questions?
no, looks good, thank you for great reporting, so
Well-
can we, please get a motion to approve the financial reports and the warrants and payroll warrants?
I'll make a motion. I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, okay, motion passes, report approved. Okay, director's report.
okay. So as you all know, the budget was approved. Dan and Diane were both reelected and, Anna Scavone, thank you, was also elected. Let's see, in order to address some of the frustration with the fiction section being split, we have officially pulled out mysteries and put them on the main floor. And now A through Z, with the exception of the mysteries, is all upstairs. Because you know I love a giant foam letter, I wasn't gonna do it, but staff talked me into it. We did buy giant foam mystery letters to put on that center console, so there is no doubt
There they are.
where the
So have you
mysteries are.
got any feedback yet from users coming in?
Nobody has said anything. Has anybody said anything to you?
No,
Nobody
but
said
I've seen
anything?
people
It's a
sitting
mystery.
there, I'm looking at the mysteries.
Okay.
Like I saw somebody who pulled over a little
Alright.
stool and was just sitting there browsing.
How long is it? So they should be happy now.
2 weeks.
Happier.
Happier.
Happy, go for happier. Happier. Okay.
Less
We like
discontent.
happy, yeah, less discontent, because I know that, that's what's come back to me a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that is the best I can do.
Yeah.
There is,
Excellent.
that is the best I can do. We have a hay ground apprentice this semester. So the senior, if you're not familiar with the hay ground apprentice program, they have a senior learners class, and those are the two oldest grades of kids. They would be comparable to a public school like 7th and 8th grade. And so one of the things they do is they do this apprenticeship program where they place the kids in different organizations and businesses in driving distance of hay ground, to get work experience and to, learn something more about a field that they may want to go into. So we have a hay ground apprentice who is just lovely and wonderful, and she's helped with children's programs. She's helped at Circ Desk. She helped relabel the mystery section with mystery
Right.
stickers. So she was off this week, but she's doing great. And
How often does she
it's-
come?
She's here for about an hour and a half, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. And we try to move her into each department so she can sort of see what it's like working the different jobs in a library.
Does she come after school?
No, she comes during the school day. So she's here from like 10 to 11:30,
Did they bring
depending
her on a
upon
bus?
pickup. Yeah, they have a van.
Then they bring her, is this the
Yep.
first time we have
This
this
is the
program?
first time we've had one, in Bridgehampton. I had quite a few. Actually, CJ, who works here, I first met as a hay ground apprentice.
Great.
And she was great. So when she was of working age, I heard her.
Do we want to, I think she's looking for, please, can we just let her in this door?
No,
You need to
it's,
get back in.
it's great when a school can do a program like that, and it's about the transportation, if you can get the student to where they
Yeah.
can do it, that's
We invite nursing people because.
the block.
Just.
But you know what, it's a different, kind of, program.
Yeah.
Yes, they can do different things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not a like comparison. But anyway, that's nice.
So let's see, we now also have a museum pass to the Vanderbilt Museum and Planetarium, which is exciting. We have begun using our targeted lists for e-blasts. We sent many e-blasts encouraging people to change their preferences. Not a lot of people did, but,
The kids programming class,
but
I'm still getting the kids programming
did
class.
you update your preferences?
No, I
No,
don't.
see,
Oh, there you go.
So.
Not
update your
mine, they're mind readers.
Choice,
No.
choice consequence.
I think wasn't complaining, it was just stating.
Yeah. So if you want to not get all of them, update your preferences, which you can do by scrolling all the way to the bottom and changing the preferences. So that's what we're doing, and Eileen created a new template. It doesn't really change what you're looking at if you're looking at it on your phone, but if you look at it on a bigger screen, it is kind of pretty. I ordered annual appeal, donation cards, stationery. We're just waiting for that to come in from the printer. And then Nancy is gonna work with, Ellie on doing one last batch upload to our donor database, and then we can start getting this printed. Diane wrote a beautiful letter. So we're cooking on that one. If you have not already done your homework for the strategic plan, you all have access to the drive. Yes, some of you tried to log in with your personal Gmails, and I then gave you permission. It wasn't just you, it was. And I can also tell who's been busy and who hasn't been busy by who wrote down what they would like to eat. So if you do nothing else in that folder, let me know what you want to eat, or you will have nothing. So, you'll get,
To do that from a computer, I tried to go on my phone and I couldn't,
no, you should be able to do it from your phone.
okay.
All right,
Okay.
I know we'll be here for extra. help.
Yeah.
I think I'm me being challenged, but
okay.
if I do it from the,
The other incentive for filling this out is it should make our strategic meeting shorter.
Yeah.
So,
Well, I'm just gonna say, see staff's report, because I think they did a brilliant job.
Yeah,
and
I
don't
agree.
think it was wonderful.
So
But anyway, that's an aside.
speaking of staff, October is Disability Awareness Month, and I just wanted to highlight Eileen, who had the brilliant idea to use our 3D printer for good instead of evil, which is what we normally use it for. I have something on my desk for you. He thought it would be a good thing for us to print accessibility devices. So we have something that helps carry plastic bags that we've been printing and giving away, and also something that you keep in your car and it helps pull your seatbelt across and then also push the, you flip it around and you can use it to push the button to undo it. We tried to do a shoehorn, but I kept breaking them with my hands. Every time they would put them, I'd be like, what is this, a shoehorn? And we just couldn't get the flexibility right. I kept snapping them.
Did she design it too?
I believe that we got them from like Thingiverse, which is, there's a lot of free, already created by people much savvier than us, things that you can download and print.
You know, I think they're great, and kudos to the library, Catherine, I saw her setting up at the farmer's market on the weekend.
Yeah.
I mean, it's great, it's, you know, the library does a great job, there's some discard books, you can help yourself to all this stuff, the info, but that's where I saw that thing.
Yeah.
I even like tried it out on my bags, it's fabulous.
Yes. Wanda, do you wanna just, I think there's,
Well, this
there's
one
one
right
of
there.
each on the table if you wanna grab them,
Yeah,
do a little show and tell.
no, I think that's really fabulous.
The HVAC project persists, but so do I. And let's see, so we thought we were gonna, discuss at the last meeting, and maybe Elliot will talk a little bit more about this. But, the person we were working with at Capital One has left in terms of us using them for a just in case checking account. So we've moved on to First National Bank.
Pretty cool, sorry.
Um,
That was a Megan Scott, that was great.
oh, we also have a Morgan Stanley account. On September 20th, we hosted an East End Library Directors thank you reception for Assemblyman Thiel. As you know, this library benefited quite a bit from the New York State Construction Grant Program when it was doing its renovation, which was completed in 2016. And Fred has always been an amazing supporter of libraries, so that was a nice event. Just a reminder, Catherine Tremblay and I will be at the NILA conference in Syracuse, November 5th through 9th. Sunny, warm Syracuse. And I will be speaking on the topic of unintended barriers to library service. What does that mean? I don't know, but I'm gonna put it in a PowerPoint. And then I just went to a bunch of meetings. In terms of statistics, obviously, we're not doing as well as we did in August. But our numbers are still pretty good. Rachel? There you go. And then the other thing I wanted to mention, which I threw into the board packet, at the very last minute, is I received a lovely email from Barbara Pelt. Dear Kelly Harris and John Germain, Board of Trustees, I am a library aficionado, and indeed have worked as a volunteer in the USIS, one in Amsterdam, Holland, and as a mom at the Chapin School in New York City, as a member of 2 book clubs and a longtime resident of North Haven. I'm at the John Germain at least once a week. Fortunately, I had attended a program given by Anthony Giansante. So when my computer was attacked by someone from Venezuela, I knew who I could call. With skill and enormous patience, he worked with me over several weeks to get these persistent thieves out of my Amazon account. Congratulations to you all for providing such great service. Better yet, you hired Anthony, the perfect man for the job, and I am very grateful. So it's always nice to have positive response.
Absolutely.
And that's all I
That's good.
got.
Kudos
That's all
to
I got.
Anthony.
Yeah.
Yeah. All righty.
We just
wanna-
have to approve the personnel report, which you all read, which is not.
Okay, can we get a motion to approve the personnel report?
I would move that.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, okay, thank you. Okay, committee reports. Personnel. We did meet.
You
Wait,
met
wait,
before the
wait.
last one.
Oh, okay, then we didn't meet. It seems like we just, time flies. Okay, nothing new there, right?
I don't think. Did it out? I don't think anyone's met since the last meeting.
No. Except
Park, the park.
Park. Well, the report that I have from the park is that they're undergoing some tree removal, and that's big bucks to do it, but
Yes.
just for your information, that the village now has a new law that any tree, you would know this, 12 inches diameter or larger cannot be cut down unless it's diseased. So you have to get, run through the village,
Just in the
but
village, though.
just in the village. So, they're cleaning up a lot of, dead wood in the park and, getting advice about planting local native trees to replace it. So that's all I have to tell you about the park. Okay? No questions? Good. All right, old business. HVAC.
All right, so some of the HVAC we'll discuss a little bit later. But in terms of old business HVAC, we're continuing through the permitting phase. And also our well pressures have gotten high, so I've been in touch with Delta Well. We are going to have the wells cleaned again before the winter to get us through the season.
Gonna have to do anything
Knock on
with
wood.
those too?
No, well, here's the thing, if the cleaning, if the little bacteria grow faster than cleaning, then we can get it cleaned, because to get on the schedule for that is not an easy feat. That is something potentially we might end up with, or perhaps worse, but perhaps, not worse, depending upon the way you want to look at things. If the system does completely fail, what we are looking at is emergency heat trailers, which would be placed on the union side of the building, because that's where we would have to go in to connect to the machinery. And that would be loud and expensive and noisy and unpleasant.
Right over here.
Right over here.
Right over there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the hope is, by spending tens of thousands of dollars to clean this one more time, it will give us enough time to get through the permitting process, the building of the equipment process, all of these things. But at this rate, we could potentially be looking at cleaning this thing again in 6 months, because the last cleaning we had it done right before summer, so it didn't even last 6 months. It got us through the summer. Maybe we did it in March. I take that back. We did it in March, so March to September is what, probably 6 months. 6 months. So,
Have we ordered the equipment or not?
it's-
Have we started that clock?
we have started that process.
Okay. Have we started that clock?
We have started that process.
Okay.
And let's see, what else? That's really it. I have some other updates, but that's for another day and another time.
So there's no meetings this month that
I
really,
don't believe so. I reached out to Tiffany. She did not call me back, although I think that was maybe who was calling me when I looked at my phone before. I don't believe that we are on the agenda for the next meeting, but things could change. I'll let you know. And then again, I just want to remind you all, we have the strategic planning board of trustees work session on Monday at 6 p.m. If you are having trouble getting into that Google folder, let me know. If you want me to print out any of that stuff for you, so you have hard copies, because you just don't love a Google folder, let me know. I can do that for you. Most importantly, let me know what you guys want for dinner that night. And we'll just go through it and put a plan together. Do you have anything else you want to add as chair of that committee, Anne?
Mm-mm.
No?
Looking forward to getting this one checked off the list.
Do like a good check.
Thank you.
New business?
Okay, so something that I mentioned in my report briefly was just that we had to move away from Capital One as the place to do our other bank accounts. So just as a reminder, and for our public, our auditor had suggested that we diversify our monies a little bit in putting So we decided to put some money into a Morgan Stanley account, which has a pretty good interest rate. And we're eventually going to make that the capital improvements fund, if you will, and spend the HVAC project money once we start spending money on that out of that account. And then we also set up, or in the process of setting up after you pass this resolution, and I get Elliot's signature on a couple of things. An account with First National Bank that is just a small amount of money, $200,000 into a money market account. We also get checks with that account, and that's just there in case of an emergency. So if Dime, who does our normal, who we do all of our operating business through, were to be hit by cybercrime, and that just sort of aligned with the same time we had to pay payroll, we would be able to fund payroll. So, you know, anybody who has their paycheck go, you know, into their mortgage payments and into their bank account, they will now not be or miss a payment. So that's why we are doing that. And we're getting about the same interest rate on the savings as Dime is currently giving us. It's like 0.03% higher or something silly like that. So I need a resolution that designates First National Bank as a depository and designates Executive Director Kelly Harris and Treasurer Elliot Soroka as signers on the account.
I'll make sort of that resolution.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
Resolution first did and who seconded?
So I, Dan, and then Dan.
My brain left my body for a moment. It was like,
happens to me a lot.
and so
Okay,
we have a slate of officers, and I was
Okay.
gonna make secret ballots. And then I
you didn't do it?
I didn't, but we can put it on, I can tear up a piece of paper and.
Well, you know what?
So our bylaws state that when you elect officers, you do it by secret ballot. Last year, we dispensed with that particular,
Yeah.
move,
Right,
which you can all do again, or you can do it by secret ballot.
so why don't we just take a show of hands, who would like to do it by secret ballot? We will be doing it now, once I present the nominations. Anybody want to do secret ballot? Okay, so I'm going, the nominating committee met, and I'm going to propose the officers. And we will vote on it, but it's open if you want to propose a different name for any of the offices. This is the time to do it. For president, Elliot Soroka. For vice president, me, Diane Yeager. For treasurer, Megan Schmidt. And for secretary, Anna Scavone. Are there any additions to the nominations? Okay. So can we take a vote to vote in these new offices for next year? All in favor of the proposed slate? Aye. Any opposed? Okay, so offices have been nominated for 2025
Perfect.
And approved.
and approved.
I call you Mr. President. I'm sorry, not as old as that.
All right. Employee salaries. So we do, as you know, every year around this time, we talk about, employee pay increases. What I recommended as part of the budgeting process, and put forward as part of the budget presentation is a 4% increase for all staff. Keep in mind that does not include me because we talk about me not as part of this. I'm special, yes. That's what my mom said. Except there are a couple of exceptions, where, we have 3 individuals whose work duties have changed. So they, are getting a little bit of greater thought up, which we can certainly discuss under executive session, as we would be talking about employment, history, behavior, all of those things. And then that's all so we will have that longer conversation in executive session. But then when we come out of executive session, we'll pass the appropriate resolution. And then everything else I got is executive session,
Okay,
except for one more period of public expression.
Right. Nada. Anything to say?
Caught me by surprise. Believe it.
She also left everybody.
Page,
Move that fast through the meeting. No, you're going
we're
to
official.
executive session. It's great to
Mhm.
see you all, see things are moving along. And very much so. And I just would say, since Anna's new, to make sure that she knows what's going on, that she's been elected, and
Mhm.
suggest if you haven't already, that she come to your next meeting.
Yes, she knows, she just couldn't make this one, but she is also joining us for our strategic planning session.
Okay, that I just, and also, no, the last thing I definitely will say is to remember that this speaker thing is on. Please talk louder, please, beg of you, because if I listen in, I can tell you right tonight, I would not have been able to hear a number.
Okay,
And you never know who else
Duly
might
noted.
listen. No.
thank you.
Unless it's our secret plot to have you come visit us.
What was that?
Unless it's our secret plot to have you come visit us.
So we just needed a couple of motion
Okay.
to go into exec.
I'll make
Okay,
a motion to go into executive session at 6:35.
I'll second it. Okay, the motion.
Aye.
Recording.
Wanda
Good,
needs-
Wanda, it does smell good, right?
I know, but
I wanna put some of this on pizza or whatever. it
You
is.
can put it on.
Ooh,
I do, oh, can I have all of these back, please?
Like
Do you want this too or no?
Wait,
but I gotta give mine to Michael, so.
Yeah. if
Yeah,
you want-
right,
if you want to
exactly.
give this back, I'll take this back as well.
Oh, this, no.
Do you need the sound things to go back to?
If you want to keep that one, you can, that's less, dramatic. It falls into the clutches and,
I have feelings about
Wanna
that.
give this
Something
back.
better.
okay. So the board voted, to come back in from executive session at 6:58. Michael Garabedian, motioned and last seconded.
Emily's buzzing Wanda.
Emily is buzzing Wanda. Do you have back up to her?
Yeah.
All right.
So do you wanna go through the resolution?
We can go through the resolution, so we just need a resolution to accept the employee salaries for 2025.
So moved.
I'll second it.
All in favor? Aye. Any nays?
And then we just need that last one.
I make a motion to adjourn the meeting at 6:59 PM.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye. All right, thank you
Get
very
lots
much,
done
everyone.
now.